We're going to move on now and look at getting input from the user, which is quite useful for us and for the programs that we're going to use. At the moment, looking at this program hopefully makes some sense. We're creating three variables, number 1, number 2 and total. They're all integers and I'm not setting them a value at the beginning. So we're going to create number 1 called number 1. It's going to hold integers but has no value at the beginning. Same for number 2, same for total. What I then want to do is to get the first user, the first number from the user. There's only one user. Get the first number from the user. Now this isn't complete at the moment, so this won't work. What I've done is put some comments in, the green lines, just to explain what I'm doing at each point in the program. Commenting your programs is a good idea. It's a good idea to get into the habit of it, so that anyone that comes and looks at your program, for example, someone that you ask to help, will be able to understand what's going on in different parts of the program. But I put some very simple comments in just to explain what's going on. So what I want to do, I'm not doing it yet, what I want to do is get the first number from the user, then get a second number from the user. I want to add them together and I want to display the answer. So a very simple idea, but it's going to introduce getting input from the user, which we haven't done yet. So if we look at the first part, what I've done is displayed a message. This is called a prompt. I've asked the user a question. I'm giving the user instruction, really, I suppose. Please enter your first number. So what I want is the user to enter a number. And what I need to do is to store that somewhere. So the computer needs to be able to remember it for us to use it later. And a sensible place for the first number would be to store it in number 1. So just as we did before, I'm going to write out number 1 gets the value of. So number 1 is going to get the value. Now, I don't know what the user is going to type in, so I can't put a number. I don't know they're always going to type in 14. I can't do that. What we want to do is to get the input from the keyboard. So whatever the user types in on the keyboard, we want to be stored. And the command for that is console.readline. And that will store whatever the user types in on the keyboard. So as a user, I will type a number followed by the enter key, and whatever I type will be stored in number 1. For the second line, hopefully you've guessed, in this case it's number 2, gets a value of console.readline. Once I've got this one, I add them together, I display the answer. So let's just have a quick go, see if check it works, and then we can have a more of a look at the program. So if I make this a little bit smaller, we should be able to see the program as I run. So please enter your first number. I'm going to do something I know, so I know that 14. Please enter your second number, add 6, should be 20. 14 plus 6 equals 20. It works. So let's have a look at what this program is doing. So first of all, we display the message, please enter your first number. So there it is, along the top line. I then get the number from the keyboard, and that's what I did. I typed in 14 and pressed enter, and the number that I typed in is stored in number 1. So number 1 now stores a value of 14. Then I display the next prompt, which is please enter your second number, please enter your second number, and I get the input from the keyboard. I typed in 6, it's stored in number 2. So at this stage, number 1 is storing 14, number 2 is storing 6. I say total gets a value of these added together. 14 plus 6 is 20. Total now stores 20. The final thing is very similar to what I've just done before. I say, whoops, let me go back. I say create a placeholder for variable value plus variable value equals variable value. So number 1 goes in there, number 2 goes in there, and total goes in there, which is then displaying the answer. So a very simple program where you can get some input. Now one of the things you have to be careful of is stupid users. Users can be very stupid and they can break it. Please enter your first number, Andy. And it crashes. Now later on in the course we'll look at making sure, ensuring rather, that the user has typed something sensible in, and if they haven't, telling them that they're a bit of an idiot. But at this stage your program will crash if you make a mistake. If it crashes, don't worry, that's fine. Your program's you're gonna get used to programs crashing, but just be careful when you're entering. So when you're running the program at this stage, do make sure that you're typing in sensible data, because the computer cannot deal with you typing in the wrong stuff. It breaks. It can't do it. So you've got to be the sensible, intelligent one. So make sure you're entering the right data. So there's a very simple program for entering data. At this stage, there's plenty of exercises in the programming challenges booklet that you can have a go at. You need to be creative. You need to adapt what you've learned here to fit the challenges, but that's what programming is about. You can create variables, you can display to the screen, and now you can get input from the user. Now in this example I've used integers. That's just the example. If I have a string array, it's the same command, console.readline. So console.readline will get whatever you type in from the keyboard. What you store it into is your business as a programmer. If I want to get two names, I could change this to a string, this to a string, and I could say please enter your first name, please enter your second name. And then in the next video we'll look at what you can do with strings. But you can have a go. You can have a bit of a play around with that. So have a look at some of those programming languages, programming challenges. You can always go back to some of the earlier videos and do some revision of that stuff if you need. That's why it's on the videos. And the next one we'll look at some string manipulation.